All right. Can you guys see this? You guys probably already did this one before, but we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. All right. Can
you make it a little bigger?
Sure. Certainly. Certainly. Bang. See that? I got you, Eugenia. I got you. All right. Who wants to volunteer in reading?
I will. Parents bring their 14-year-old son to a social worker because he questions authority, is late for curfew, and no longer desires to attend church with the family. The son says that his parents treat him like a baby and that he wants to go to a more upbeat church. The social worker should explain to the parents that their son is most likely.
Okay. So maybe I should have chose a better vignette, but we can do this one. Context. Content. Okay. All right. So who wants to tell me what the context is?
Intervention.
Okay. Does anybody disagree with Cal?
No, wait, brain dance. No, because it's not brain. Well, parents bring their social. No, that'd probably be intake.
Intake stage.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? We all agree with the intake stage, right? Now, the vignette isn't as clear, but we're going to assume, right, that the parents is just bringing the 14-year-old to the social worker, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes in the vignettes, I keep calling them vignettes, sometimes in the STEM, this is what social workers call them. Sometimes in the STEM, they will emphasize what stage it is. You've been working with this client for 6 months. Okay, you're at the end of the relationship with this client, but we're just going to assume this is the intake stage. Where are we? Who can tell us where are we?
It sounds like the beginning.
Say that one more time.
The beginning stage.
The intake stage. I mean, where are we as far as setting? What do you think? Are we?
Like maybe therapist's office.
So Tiffany, we are going to go, you're right. So by default, if it doesn't emphasize, we're in a professional setting. By default, your mind should go, when you're looking at any vignette, if it does not emphasize, we are going to be in a professional setting, which more than likely an office. It'll emphasize if it's an agency. It'll emphasize if it's a school, right? We're in a setting. If a parent brings you a 14-year-old, you're not chilling at Thanksgiving dinner, right? No, you're in a professional setting, right? All right, so let's just say that. By default, you're going to be in a professional setting. I should have chosen a better vignette, but we could do another one. All right. So what is the vignette asking for? Well, we need the who. I'm sorry. Who are we talking about? I'm sorry about that. Moving too fast. What is the who?
14-year-old.
Yep.
And the parents.
Yep. Parents are involved. There's some ethical boundaries that we have there. Okay. All right. Any other who's?
The therapist or the
Us, right?
social worker.
Right.
And not
So,
therapist.
which is a good observation. Of course, we're involved, but when it comes to the vignettes, usually they want the people, they want us to focus on the parties involved outside of ourselves. So that's cool. Yeah, we are involved, but 14-year-old and parents. Okay. What are they asking?
They're asking for intervention in regards to the child's behaviors. I guess he's parents are bringing him to the therapist to get some type of help with his behaviors in reference to curfew, not wanting to go to church,
Okay.
and saying that he wants to.
So they're
Feels
looking.
like a baby.
Mm-hmm. You on point. You on point, Maya. So basically, they're looking for some information, right? An explanation, right? Is that what the vignette looking for?
Mm-hmm.
An explanation, right? What should the social worker explain, right? Let's get some of the context here. So we have a 14-year-old. He comes in with his parent. Some of the things that are going on are, well, let me engage you guys. What's going on with this 14-year-old?
He's not, he has a questionable character when it comes to authority,
Yep.
unstable to parents.
On point, Eugenia. What else?
He feels that the parents still take him like a child,
Treat him like a what? A baby, right?
like a baby, right?
Mm-hmm. And he also wants to go to a more upbeat church, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you see the parents want, and sometimes we get wrapped into, and I know you guys practice in real life, but sometimes I have issues with bureaucracy versus the client's best interest. Sometimes I clash with more the bureaucracy involved in there. Some people, when they do treatment plan and they're like, oh, this kid needs this, right? And you're like, all right, that's not what the kid wants, or that's not what the parents wants. So I always get in trouble. I always get in trouble because I challenge systems and I challenge bureaucracies. But yeah, so he questions authority, right? He's late for curfew, right? Some of the behaviors. He no longer attends church with family. And then from the client's perspective or the kid's perspective, he says, parents treat me like a baby. Okay. All right, let's bring up some of the answers. Is there anything else involved in this STEM?
He wants to go to an upbeat church.
Yep. Boom. Let me put that on the back end. Thank you for that, Calvin. All right, we already seen some of the answers, but if you guys can put it in the chat what you think it is and we can discuss.
You want us to send you the answer to you directly or to everyone?
To me directly. And then we can discuss.
Can you take it up a little bit so we can see all the?
Yeah, I meant to make this bigger too. Wait a minute. Big bad, big bad. Big bag, big bag. All right. You
Are
guys see
you
that?
under the study group co-host or the one test prep host?
Study group. Study group. I had login difficulties. Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Tiffany, you've done this before, didn't you? You pretty good. You pretty good. Okay. I'm waiting on 3 other people. All right, Kara, I see you. Okay, Eugenia. And did we get everybody? Is that everybody? Calvin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we got some conflict here. So all my people that selected A, can you give me an explanation on why you selected A? Well, let me do this. Don't answer that. Scratch that. Scratch that. What will we eliminate here? What do we know for sure? For sure, is some absolute garbage
For me, C and D.
for C and D. Okay. Right. Why don't we engage in a power struggle? Right. Come on now. So we all on the same page. It might be A or B. Okay, Calvin. That's why context and content is important. All right, let me ask you guys. Oh, okay, my bad. I'm not sure why. Maybe I need to make the document larger. Oops. Okay. Can you guys see that? That's big enough for me. Yay. No. Maybe so. All right. To those that selected A, what is your rationale? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Or will I?
I chose A. I actually was up against A and B, which I did rule out C and D as not being options for me. I struggle between A and B. I chose A though based off the child being 14 years old. Age was a factor that led me to choose that. Um, and I think based off the things that he is exhibiting in regards to what typical teenagers or 14-year-olds would be doing, questioning authority, late for curfew, no longer desires to attend church with the family. To me, those were all things that kind of revolved around what teenagers would be doing when they link with other peers or trying to kind of, I guess, fit in. But on the other hand, again, I struggled with B. I had to pick one, so I struggled with B too because I also know that at 14 years old and as a teenager, those are some of the same things that you're doing when you're trying to find yourself and you're kind of in that phase of life where you're shifting from that, child phase to the teenage phase of trying to get yourself together and figure out who you are in that new phase, if that makes sense.
Make a lot of sense, Maya. You can teach a college course on this, man. I'm telling you. Wonderful, just wonderful. Both of the rationales sound plausible and very didactic. I like that word, didactic. Very didactic. I love it. Um, how about people that selected B? Go ahead, Calvin.
Well, you seen in the chat, I actually changed it to be.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just moving fast, thinking fast, and then when I actually like just slowed down and about it, I was gonna pick A, but then again, that would be what I did was assume something about peers, and it didn't mention anything about peers, so that made me exclude that and go to B.
Ooh. Oh, he's spitting. A word was said. Did you hear? Did you hear what he just said? A word was just said. Calvin said nothing about peers was in the vignette, right? Oh, excuse me, the stem. And remember what we said in the beginning? Well, let me get into the answer because I can get real preachy. Let me do that. You guys are grown. I'm not gonna treat y'all like babies, right? Like the vignette. Come on. Let me just go down. All right. Here is the rationale. Who wants to read it?
You make your screen bigger, please?
Oh, I thought it was big. Hold on. Is it small? It's filling my screen right now. Hold on.
Hey, Jamar, instead of changing the font,
Uh-huh.
go down in the bottom right corner of your Word document. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Oh, can y'all see that? Oh, okay. I see what you guys talking about. All right. Who wants to read this?
The idea that the son is trying to find a personal identity, he be, is correct because it reflects the developmental stage of separating and establishing a separate identity. The fact that there is not an isolated incident of defiance indicates that the issue at hand is not a power struggle. Want me to read all? C. Although the son indicates that he wants to attend a different style of church, this desire does not rise to the level of an unresolved religious issue. D. There is nothing to indicate that the problem here has to do with peer identification. A.
Fire, fire, fire. So Maya, you was right. Um, sometimes you guys taking practice tests, and sometimes we tend to second guess ourselves. Calvin too, right? Moving a little bit too fast. Just things make sense on a realistic level in a real way. Maya, in real life, you know, A could have been it, right? In real life, right? But remember, we're doing a test here. And if it isn't in the stem, excuse me, is it a stem? Yeah, if it isn't in the stem, then we don't add anything in there. I used to tell my ex-girlfriend, well, no, let me leave that out of there. Never mind. Yeah, but the answer is in the stem, okay? Does that make sense? Did anybody find this one challenging? Because I got one coming up that's going to blow your mind. Mm, 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 mm. Eugenia, you had something? What's your thoughts?
So just wanted to say same thing, reading meaning into what wasn't really spoken about. There wasn't any peer involved in the question, so was adding too much from what we read.
I'm going to just go ahead and say it. My ex-girlfriend used to lie, right? And she used to add things or omit things. And that's what, when I took this test, I used to say, I'm not going to add anything or I'm not going to omit things out of this vignette or this stem, right? So when we make the cultural mistake of adding things or omitting things when we're reading things, because we're reading into it. We were taught in the education system to be abstract thinkers, right? put things together, do that and, formulate some stuff. But if it ain't in the vignette, then we're not going to put it there. That makes sense? All right. Let me stop the screen share because I got to do my thing. Does anybody see the benefit of understanding the context and the content?
I do. I had this kind of given to me a while back, so it really was beneficial for me when I took the test. I did take the test this summer and missed it by 7 points. So I utilized this method, and it really did help to kind of narrow in the STEM and also identifying, like you say, we know that as a social worker, we play multiple roles. So just making sure I recognize what role I'm playing in that particular scenario. Because again, what a school social worker would do would be totally different than a hospital social worker and community social worker. So it helped me reframe my mind around who I am, what setting I'm in, who's my client or client. And that kind of helped me narrow down to my choices so that I wasn't so scattered out there just randomly roaming. So that it really was beneficial for me.